So, welcome. Today, as you might notice, there's the title of Damage Report. So, that's a new segment I'm going to be trying doing on Saturdays where we go over the current discussions and updates with Star Citizen, be it new SCLs, new, Inside Star Citizens, um, you know, PTU reports, all the information that's, coming out new as far as the end of the week, and kind of an outlook also where they want to go for the week, where they want to move forward through possibly just a week or possibly into the next quarter. So let's start off with we'll go over and just discuss over the PTU notes. So let's see, actually, bear with me a little bit, first time running this one, so we're gonna change scenes real quick. We'll go through this together. And let's see. All right. So, as we see here, okay, that's working. Sorry, I just gotta confirm, you guys are able to see this. All right, so Alpha Patch 4.02 has been released in the PTU environment, which they've been working steadily on with their current focus. Characters in this new environment have been built for long-term persistence data. Let's see, currently the LTPs, certain players such as personal hangar loadout, custom hangars, and in-game purchase consumables are not saved between releases, which will cause some items to be lost in the next update. Okay, so basically what they're saying is that during this update, which sometimes these patches come out every other day or sometimes daily, but in between patches, all your hangar setups and all your purchases are going to persist. But rolling into the next patch, it basically resets everything. So it's showing they, have the long-term persistence enabled for the patch with mesh configuration of 5 servers for Stanton, 5 servers for Pyro, and, still sitting at the 600 player cap, which, has been doing pretty good for them so far since, the beginning of 4.0. Aside from the server stability issues they've been having, but that's not, indicative to the server setups. Now, of course, they have disabled the hangar spawning again, which, God, I can't wait for them to get back. Because that was so convenient not having to run from spawn, at the Habs all the way through the city just to get back to your hangar every time. But, we get it. They ran into complications where it was them streaming into each individual uh, personalized hangar, instance, and causing some, I believe it was, count lockouts at the time. I believe that was part of the issue they were having. But nonetheless, they disabled it because, well, it's causing problems and they got other stuff to have to focus on at the current time. So, with their testing and feedback focus, they've put out the notes saying that with 4.0.2, they're really highly focused on the 3 key points to improve and fix as many of these top key gameplay issues as possible, improve connectivity and stability, and begin the latest Supply or Die Pyro event. So I think that's what, like, phase 4-ish? I don't know. I'm not quite through all the phases myself yet. I'm on phase 2 or phase 3. But yeah, from my understanding, Supply or Die event's a major, like, cargo running event for Pyro. And I've heard talks, I haven't seen myself, but have heard talks that some of these payouts are up to like 1 million on a mission payout, but it's hauling RMC and, other materials that are highly going to be sought after and not easily something that, it's going to either A, cost you quite a bit just to purchase it to fulfill the needs of the mission event, or B, time spent they're actually, you know, salvaging versus just, chalking up to a vendor and going and buy it. So it has the potential to be either A, very costly to complete. So I imagine with a 1 point something million dollar payout, if you can pull it off at a single run, it's you're gonna come out on top. But the high likelihood that with an event like this running, we're gonna be seeing piracy going way through the roof. Because RMC, if they can just steal it off your ship, then go and sell it, that's a well worth well over $1.2 million that they could be doing in this mission. So there's gonna be a lot going on with that, and I'm kind of interested to see how it's gonna go whenever it hits live. But going forward, they're currently focusing on the known issues they have. They have a well, mind I roll back a little bit. Their build they just released last night is further updates on their transit self-healing and code cleanup, as well as more focused logging to narrow down some final issues they're encountering. Further work they're doing is into build to help with long load times, which I'm sure you've all experienced that just the same as me. You get 240, 250 queue waiting to join in on a server that could be 15, 20 minutes just waiting in queue. And then it's an excessive time on the loading screen, like sometimes five to 10 minutes on that loading screen I've had just to get into a server. Which, spending 30 minutes just to log into a game, that's gonna kill anyone's, drive or want to get in there and play. And, sort of aside from us, diehards that want to punish ourselves, most people who look for that instant gratification. They want to hop in, they want to have fun, they want to enjoy their time, and then they want to get along with their day. And that does not calculate into half hour sitting there twiddling your thumbs wondering if you can get into a server. So yeah, seeing them working on that is a phenomenal thing to have. Now, whether they pull it off, we'll see. That's a different story. But it's good that it's in their crosshairs. This is something that they need to critically focus on. As in the end, at the comment that we suspect that there is more to go, but are working to reduce these. Now, their known issues they've got listed as a blocker in the PU, transit and elevators. Yeah, no shit. We've known that for how long? Elevators are present, but panel buttons stop functioning. Yeah, that's part of the code cleanup that they're doing. One of the criticals, PU transit, entity carriage is stuck in transit to a gateway, but never arrives, which renders the gateway unusable. All these stations with elevators that you can't get out of the station. I had the same situation on the obituary last night. Every single elevator on that server broken. Well, on that station in that server. Now I was able to log, hop into a different server, and able to get off that station. But then again, that's forcing players to roll out of the game, wait that load time, get back into the game, and fingers crossed they landed into a functioning server. So yeah, the whole transit refactor they've been working on is such a critical component to this game that it's a wonder that it's taken, which we all understand that they've said that for almost a decade now that they're a lot of these things are waiting on tech. They're gate blocked by certain tech items being implemented. Well, now we've got all that tech that they've been waiting on, and now they're past those gates. The gates are open, the flood's rolling, and now they're trying to swim. So we'll see how they do. Now in the second month of the year, going in almost into the third, and we haven't really seen much improvement. Can't say that, I'm surprised because I'm not. But CIG's I'm glad that they have been putting this focus in, but they need to show results. And, as the old saying goes, don't talk about it, be about it. We need to see the result. They've talked about it for 12 years. Let's just fucking get down to that point right there. So moving forward, another critical in the PU is that the ASOP ship cargo, or well, ASOP ship and cargo. Upon the ship auto storing through leaving game or leaving hangar, on initial retrieval, the cargo disappears and cargo grid is locked from being used. So I wasn't aware of this one. Yeah, then if they're trying to get the supply or die event, that's not gonna work. So yeah, that's gonna stop their event completely. Because anytime they collect, especially if it's a large supply, you're not gonna do all that big of a supply run for a 1 point something million dollar payout in one sitting. And this kind of sounds like every time you use your ship. So if you're leaving the cargo on the vehicle, so you'd have to unload your cargo at every, whether it be state ending station, rather than expecting the persistency to maintain your ship and its stability when it's stored. Every time you log out and then come back in to continue the mission, that ship's gonna be broken and that cargo's gonna be lost. Ergo, nobody's gonna want to do that supply or die event. The only way to do it is to collect the material, come back to your base, stow it in your, your cargo hangar, and then make your next run for your next part of it. And hopefully, you got a ship big enough to support the carrying of the full amount, which I don't know the details. I can only assume that it's a large amount for the payout that I've been hearing. We won't know until it actually, comes out, which I myself haven't played any of the PTU yet. No, just keep that in mind. I try to keep it kind of avoid the PTU because I don't want to spoil myself with it working right in PTU and then come to live and flat broke. Did that with 318 and it almost killed me with the game. Moving forward, they discuss a little bit about the missions, as listed as another critical in UI, or mission in UI, NPE. Mission markers are missing from the tutorial missions and blocking progress. Alright, so I don't really give a crap about the tutorial missions. I give a crap about the missions we actually have out in the verse, which is having the similar and same results as what's going on here. Markers for NPCs for these pyro missions aren't spawning, or, NPCs are falling through the planet and you can't get to them. You see the marker, but it's 200 kilometers below your feet. Missions aren't updating when you arrive on location to get into the next phase of that mission. Once you get there to see how many, whether it be, hostile forces to eliminate or, supply to destroy. So I'm not too worried about tutorial missions, guys. We need to, yeah, I mean, you could honestly, in my opinion, scrap that. Which we've known for a long time that Star Citizen needs a proper introduction tutorial for new players. And what they did a little while back with this tutorial missions, it, it we can call it a placeholder at best, because it gives you the base functionality of understanding how you interact with stuff around you and how to use your map and how do you get to the spaceport and how do you take off. How do you use your mobiglass, basically. And then how to leave the station. That's it. Honestly, if they flesh out the missions is the training. The missions is the tutorial. You start with your base interactive mission, not just reading. They need to have an interactive, voiceover with someone actually coming up on that comm and talking to you and saying, "Hey, we got so and so, your old war buddy. This, this, and that. I got this job over here. We got, need an extra hand on, and why don't you meet me here? And it might be a little like, we'll say gun running just in the server. Oh, sorry, in the city. Not actually going to the spaceport at first. He might have you go pick up, a, custodian SMG and then deliver it over to this dude because he's gearing up with them to go infiltrate something. That'd be the first basic mission, teaching you where your shops are, how to interact with your mobiGlas, and then how to follow a progress marker on a map. And then from there, you got your next mission. Well, you're gonna be coming with us. We got to infiltrate this, moon base over here, and there's a hidden stash that we need to get. So you got from there more practice learning the map, mobiGlas, learning how to direct yourself to your different locations in the city rather than being. Basically, this will be the introduction onto the tram system, the transit, because you'll be in one area of the city at first mission. Second mission is going to take you onto transit to spaceport, and then you're going to learn to call your ship, how to exit the hangar, how to fly to the moon, how to land. Well, you quantum, and then completion mission there. So then you've got a half of a loop. Now at this point, you could say these, the supply stash you just found, and rare minerals or materials. Then you can bring up makes you come back, which once again, a little bit of practice on your flight, practicing landing in a hangar, which granted nowadays it's so much easier. When I first started, I kid you not, I probably blew up 30 times trying to fly out of my hangar whenever I first started this game, like 7, 8 years ago. That was at the beginning of 3.0. Had some weird, like, square vectoring thing that you had to follow a flight path, and if you even bumped any of the actual animation of, like, the, the vectoring, it'd blow your ship up. So, I mean, granted, it was a bug. Not so much, the player error, but yeah, so it was so complicated back then to even get in and out of the hangar. So now that's not an issue. It's so much easier, but it still does take an ounce of skill to not slam your ship into the side of the hangar where you're trying to land. And then from there, you take your supply or your stash that you just raided of minerals or materials, and then you go to the transit system to another section of the city, further expanding your player's understanding of the locations of the city and how to get around and what facilities are where for the cargo district, for industrial district, to have and sales, for starport, easing your way into these stuff. A mission, which I know they've talked about, wanting to flesh out the mission system, and once again, they've talked about it, which they've talked about a lot of stuff, and there's so much they still need. So, mission markers on tutorial missions, they need to scrap that whole thing and focus on their narrative missions that they talked about in CitizenCon, in my opinion, because that's where your tutorial's gonna be. It's gonna introduce you into the mechanics of the game, the different play styles of the game, and your different mission types, whether it be, you know, bounty hunting, whether it be cargo, whether it be mining, whether it be a salvage. It's going to give you a taste going into these. And, personally, I think when they do them, there should be, like I said, an interactive NPC that you feel like is your friend in the verse. That you're going, and he has, the mole that you guys are going to run out and do a little bit of mining on. Or he has the vulture that, he's going to loan to you to meet him in this location, that he's got, tips on any wreckage over there. Things like that. He's going to introduce you to the mission type, the gameplay type, and the vehicles associated to that, so that you get an understanding of what you need, how to do it, and goals to accomplish if you want to do it for yourself. That would be the greatest way to do a tutorial. So moving forward, they got another critical for the mission refactor, comm array repair. Contract in the mobiGlas becomes hidden when another player enters mission location. Is that not what it's always done? If you hack the comm array, there's a mission thrown up for an individual to, to repair it. And then as soon as somebody takes that mission, it's gone. Which that's the way we've always done it in the past, bring down the comms, and one of our either org mates or a friend that we're playing with, one person takes it down and another person takes the mission. That way nobody else can go there and turn the comms back on. So I don't understand much about what they're talking about right there. If that's something different than that gameplay that we've always had. I won't call it gameplay if it's a bug. But that's been like that for ages. So going forward some more critical mission refactor. PvP missions don't work. PvP missions don't work. Are these like the player bounties? Huh. Well, I haven't really done a lot of those in the first place, so I couldn't say for certain. I don't notice if they're not working or not, but it's interesting because that's one of the selling points of the law system in the game, is that, you can go out there and choose to be a good law-abiding citizen, or you can choose to be a murder hobo, and the game issues out bounties to other players, so it's your peers, your community that hunts you. It's more alive. That's kind of a bummer that those aren't, if that's not working. Which I would definitely agree that would be a critical focus to repair. Another critical on the PU, star map. Party members do not appear on the star map or area map. I don't know, now the mention of that, yeah, I have not seen them on there. I see them in person, on my HUD as far as on my helmet, but when getting into the map, you don't see where your allies are. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't quite consider that a critical, though. There's other issues with the star map that I'd call critical, other than, party members' markers aren't showing up on the map. Now, they got this one, they got listed as a high priority PU, pyro jump points and locations, spacescaping. Asteroids that surround the Stanton Gateway can be seen inside the jump tunnel and occasionally can cause fatal collisions when exiting the jump tunnel. Oh, I'd be so pissed if that happened to me. So it sounds like as the tunnel opens, the movement of these asteroids around it, every now and then one slips in, and then it stays right there inside of the exit point. Next one is high pyro jump point. Failing a jump point will displace the player far away from the gateway station. I thought it was supposed to do that, in my opinion. I didn't know. So basically, I guess the way it's supposed to work is that if you fail it, you're supposed to go back to the beginning and pop back out behind you, which makes no sense as far as, you know, jump travel. But hey, who am I? Alright, so let's move on down to features and gameplay. So, ships and vehicles. New ships added to the PU ships shops. The Zeus, CL, and ES are both available now at New Deal in Lorville. The Misk Starlancer Max is available at New Deal at Lorville and Astra Armada at Area 18. Okay, cool. So basically the ships we've seen from last CitizenCon are coming through and now available for purchase in-game for any player to get, not just the people that put the money out on the shop. Which, that Starlancer is phenomenal. All, well-rounded, large vessel that you can do anything in. And the aesthetics are awesome too. Alright, so Cortex, they've updated loading screens. What the fuck does that mean? They've had the same load screen as long as I've played the game. All right, so bug fixes. We got a potential fix on the Stanton Pyro Medical Rescue Service beacons missions. Players will not pay out or be rewarded any UAC for completing medical rescue service beacons. So they got a potential fix. We'll see. This may also be causing lots of medical beacons to stick on the contract manager. Okay, so it's not paying them out for it, and they're not completing it, removing it from the mission list for the beacons. Our potential fix for the PU, Pyro, Fire Sale, Watchers Depot missions, Moby-Glass locations. Watchers Depot location is missing from Terminus and the star map. Huh, look at it. Oh, so it's the jump point is missing. Well, why would they say? Yeah, it's probably just a QT marker. I'm sure that the Watchers Depot is physically still there on the planetary location. There's just no marker for you to quantum jump to it for your mission. Potential fix in Stanton Pyro, the scanning UI for ships, vehicles, UI mining. Minables are labeled John Doe. Oh, Lord. We're not even going to go to all the replies of people's wants. But in the technical side, they fixed a client crash. Okay. We don't know what was causing the client crash, but hey, they fixed it. So, moving over. This week in Star Citizen. Now, this was updated as of like Wednesday. Nope, last Monday. Why do they do them on Monday? Anyway, so, as they discussed, they had the core more for last week that it's going into this week with their new lineup of the Mark II Super Hornets and the Heartseeker, which I'm kind of on board with. I won't say on board with the attempted lawsuit one guy's trying to do with the Heartseeker upgrade kit, because it advertises the paint of one particular style, and if you use the upgrade kit on a Mark II Hornet, which it's supposed to be applicable to both the ball turret and the paint doesn't render what the Heartseeker paint is supposed to be. It renders as the stock Super Hornet Mark II paint with the pinup girl from Heartseeker on it. So it's not what they advertised. You get something different, which is a huge issue on a selling point. Because people see something, they buy something, and they don't receive something. That's not, a you know, good business ethic. Now it's going into this week, they won't be airing a new episode this Thursday, which I noticed. That's what I was kind of looking forward to talking about today. But they'll be back next week with a Inside Star Citizen talking about the Supply or Die event. Friday, keep an eye on your inbox for the latest new RSI newsletter. Bring you all the key updates from the verse. This Sunday, the Crux Cup Racing Series kicks off with the official track day. That's going on tomorrow. Wow. So that's kind of that on our news and report, since we didn't have the ISC to really talk about. Yes, see, if you leave comment, throw a post, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and definitely interested to hear your feedback on further iterations of this damage report each weekend. I welcome other players and viewers to join me on Discord and maybe we can have a discussion about your thoughts and feelings of some of these events going on in Star Citizen and you know, how they've been handling themselves going into this 2025 year. Because this is the year that's going to make or break them. They see, they put a nail in the coffin when they put up, Squadron 42 2026. So 2025 has to fix a lot of stuff. But we'll see. Until then, guys, check back in. Don't miss out. See y'all next time.